too loud? The next woman, that was loud, has given me permission to introduce her. So you will see my superpowers, which is crying. Remember, I am honored to introduce Colleen Johnston. Colleen is known to many as Kale. She has been a part of my life for over 14 years. Thank you for giving me space to cry. I can honestly say to you, if it were not for her, I would not be standing on the stage tonight. I would have not survived some of the hardest years of my life without her guidance and support. She's more than just my therapist. She is strength, she is passionate, and she doesn't let you get away with bullshit either. She went above and beyond to help me and my kids. Her voice and presence was pivotal in my healing and having a voice of my own. I knew I wanted her to be a part of the first woman Aloud, as she is one of the strongest women I know. In these last few years, I have been honored to see her grow as a speaker and a writer. She is my inspiration. Please welcome Colleen Johnston.
Well, my superpower is crying too. Thank you, Melissa. And hi, everybody. I'm honored to be invited here, and I'm humbled to be included in this group of amazing women. Woo! And you can't see anything, by the way. It's just like, I can't see you guys at all. Okay. So this evening, I'd like to talk to you about feeling deflated, disappointed, or discouraged, but refusing to be defeated. I've been a mental health therapist for nearly 30 years, and I right now I'm in private practice for the last, 15 in Hall, New York. I specialize in helping people heal from the effects of trauma. In the fall of 2023, I released my first book, The Chrysalis, A Trauma Therapist's Journey. This is both a memoir of my own formative life experiences, as well as some of my clients' success stories and the modalities and tools that I use. My second book, which is a collaborative labor of love with my daughter Lindsay, is a children's book. She did all the illustrating, explaining hospice and the dying process. And they are both available for sale in the lobby. Part of being an effective mental health therapist is practicing consistent self-care. I make sure I have good balance in my life. I enjoy quality time with my husband, Jim, my family, my friends. I have many hobbies and interests, such as being active and immersing myself in nature. I am a runner, and this activity checks many boxes for me. And in our introduction speech, it dawned on me, women weren't even allowed to run in races. And in 1967, Catherine Switzer broke that by being the first woman in the Boston Marathon. So, wow, I just take that for granted that I can be in races. And it's because of the strong women before me that I can't. Anyway, it's very social for me to participate in races and run with friends, or I love to be alone, out on the road with my own thoughts. Looking forward to runs and having a chance to process things while out there on the road are great for my well-being. I've gotten some of my most creative ideas out on the road, and of course it's great exercise, which I love that too. This evening, I'd like to share my own distressing experiences and give hope that it is possible to be deflated but not defeated. My saga began in May last year. I was on a run on a lovely sunny morning and noticed some crescent moon-shaped flashes of light in the top of my left field of vision. It only lasted a few seconds, so I chalked it up to just the bright sun. Well, it happened a few more times over the next week, so I contacted the eye care center. After several visits, my own persistence, and multiple practitioners, it was finally discovered that I had 2 significant tears in my left retina. I underwent immediate laser surgery, which was shockingly and achingly painful. Afterwards, my retinologist acknowledged how painful the treatments can be and complimented me on my toughness. I can always tell who my runners are. They're stoic, she said. Much to my dismay, those 2 tears were only the beginning. Over the course of last summer, I sustained 9 tears affecting both eyes. And by the way, I was told there's nothing I was doing to cause the tears. It was part of the aging process as the vitreous gel shrinks and pulls away inside. But if you're unlucky, like I was, it can get stuck to the retina and it tears it. If left untreated, it can lead to a detachment, which is very serious and can cause blindness. Now, I want to inspire you and not just lament about my retinas. Regarding my doctor's observation that runners are stoic, I am not stoic when it comes to my emotions. I wear them on my sleeve. However, I do believe that we runners develop an ability to tolerate and cope with physical and mental discomfort and at times pain. It's not uncommon to hear long-distance runners shout, "Embrace the suck!" to give encouragement, to keep going, don't give up. I've read articles on how long-distance runners develop that ability to tolerate suffering that serves us well in life, whether that suffering is emotional, like dealing with the death of a loved one, or the suffering may be physical, such as coping with a debilitating illness. It was only very recently that it dawned on me, oh, that resilience that I've been building up all these years as a runner, I guess it's not. I have since had 3 major surgeries to go along with the 9 laser treatments, one of which stemmed from a hemorrhage in my right eye that caused me to totally lose vision for days. For me, the hardest part is how negatively my vision has been impacted. There's hope for improvement as scar tissue heals, but that seems to be very slow. And I have learned 2 things that I can control: my expectations and my attitude. Patience is really important. On a Friday morning at the end of September, I attended an appointment to assess my readiness to have the lens of my right eye replaced. Apparently, the first retina surgery, I know way too much about eyes, the first retina surgery caused a cataract. I went into this appointment anticipating good news and hopeful I'd be able to see clearly soon. Imagine my horror during that exam when the doctor said, "We can't do cataract surgery. Your retina has detached." I now know the scar tissue that healed the tears actually puckered and caused the detachment. Suddenly, I was being treated as an emergency case again. I had to rush to another site in another town where I was referred to another group, and I would need surgery that Monday. That Friday that I found this out, my husband Jim and I were registered to run in a 5K race that we've been really looking forward to. I couldn't help asking my doctor, "Am I allowed to run the 5K tonight?" I was actually given the green light. The damage was done, so go ahead. So that evening, it was summery and balmy in Montour Falls. Jim and I were milling around in the street with the other runners, waiting for the race to begin. I don't know if you guys have been to these races, but the start line is a big inflatable arch, and it's hooked to a generator, which is attached to an air pump, which chugs along and it sounds like a lawnmower. I was doing my best to stay positive and grateful that I could still run this race. However, the dread of the upcoming surgery, uncertainty as to my eyesight, and just being bummed out that this was happening, it felt oppressive. Suddenly, the generator started to sputter and cough until it went silent. and the once perky blue and white starline arch began to wilt. Slowly it deflated into this comical shape that looked like an M. I immediately related my own deflated spirits to this ironic starline. The air horn blasted, signaling the start, and off we went, ducking awkwardly under this weird M. It was definitely not my best race, and I felt rather sluggish. But by the time we rounded the last corner and headed for the finish line, the arch was fully inflated, and we gratefully crossed the line. I was not defeated. A technique I teach my clients is to dispute their negative thoughts. This is also called reframing. It can be a situation or a thought pattern to reframe. Some of us innately do this. Others need to put a little more effort into it. The old saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, reflects this concept. If we practice disputing our negative thought patterns, it will allow us to build resilience. Resilience keeps us from being defeated. What we practice becomes our mindset. If we gain awareness as to our own thoughts, we get to choose how to proceed. Whether the glass is half empty or half full is up to us. I'd like you to join me in reflecting on specific times in your lives when you felt deflated, discouraged, disappointed, yet how you refused to be defeated. For me, I was deflated when I had to cancel my clients' appointments and plans with my family. This led me to believe that I was disappointing people I care about. Not being defeated meant I took the time I needed to recover, and then I got back to life. Feeling deflated was learning I would not be able to run in the Ottawa Half Marathon in last May. I had trained and was excited about this race. Not being defeated was getting the doctor's permission to still participate as long as I didn't jostle my head. You should have seen that half walk, half scoot forward I developed that brought me across that finish line in a pretty good time. Feeling deflated was being stuck in the face-down position for 8 days following one of the surgeries. Not being defeated was borrowing this really cool beach chair that had a face hole in it so I could comfortably sprawl face down and even catch up on some old continuing education requirements. Feeling deflated was after surgery this past December 23rd, was being told by my surgeon. After everything your eyes have been through, you can't run. So I canceled Christmas Eve plans and stopped running. But not being defeated meant, well, I can walk, I can hike, I can not jostle, and having a low-key, but still a Merry Christmas. Almost done here. Good news! I have been released to run again. Thank you. I get this. You don't know this. I have even registered for my first ultra marathon this fall, which is a 32-mile trail race in Kansas. I'm not out of the woods, but having this goal ahead of me gives me inspiration to keep going. Believe me, I have my moments of feeling very defeated, but I also know that I'm not alone. Surrounding ourselves with supportive and understanding people is extremely helpful. And in closing, remember, in times of uncertainty, fear, discomfort, and even pain, having patience, perseverance, and as my grandma used to say, plenty of grit, we can all keep moving forward and refuse to be defeated. Thank you.